An American corporation is administered by directors. Generally, directors must be natural persons. Consequently, a corporation cannot act as a director of another corporation. Directors are elected by the shareholders, normally in proportion to the shares held by each of them. There are no U.S. citizenship or residency requirements for corporate directors, with rare exceptions. The officers of a corporation are appointed by the directors. The titles of officers are normally as follows: President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer. As a general rule, the officers of a corporation must be natural persons. They can be chosen from among the directors, but this is not mandatory. It is also not mandatory that all officer titles be held. For example, a corporation may have only a president or a president and a secretary. On the other hand, the same person may wear several hats as an officer. For example, a person may be the president, secretary, and treasurer of a corporation. As with directors, there are no U.S. citizenship or residency requirements for officers, with rare exceptions. For its part, the LLC is managed by managers. The titles of the managers of an LLC are generally as follows: Operating Manager, Vice Operating Manager, Secretary Manager, and Treasurer Manager. Unlike a corporation, a legal entity can generally be an LLC manager. For example, an American or foreign company may be the manager of an LLC. But in practice, it is quite rare. Again, there is no requirement for U.S. citizenship or residence for managers of an LLC, with rare exceptions. Finally, here are 3 points you should remember. Point 1. It is generally recommended to limit the number of directors. Ideally, their number should not exceed 4. The more numerous the directors, the more complicated and cumbersome the administration of the company will be. Point 2. When one shareholder owns 90% of the issued shares and the other shareholder owns 10%, should the corporation have 2 directors? Normally, the answer is no. When there is a majority shareholder of such importance, they usually are the only director and therefore the only authorized signatory to the bank. Point 3. It is permissible for an LLC to be managed by its own members, rather than by managers. It is therefore not mandatory to appoint managers. In such a case, this LLC is described as a member-managed LLC. However, in practice, it is not recommended. It is useful for an LLC to be run by managers, especially in relation to third parties. Customers, employees, suppliers, and bankers expect LLC representatives to have an official title.